Good morning. It's Wednesday, the 10th day of September 2025, and it's a sunny morning in Enugu City. How are you really doing this morning? And I hope your day is going well. All right, my name is Odili, and you're welcome to High Voltage on Volt 104.3 FM. It's your weekday news analysis show where we review and analyze the news and also talk about issues affecting us as citizens of Nigeria, things ranging from politics, health, security, laws, and education, and other topical stories making rounds in the country. So yesterday, some of the fuel stations were closed. For the few ones that opened, cars queued, and this led to increase in transport fare. But we are glad things have returned back to normal as Nupeng and Dangote, they've come to an agreement and the strike has been called off. So that's a very nice one, because what would have happened spending more on transportation because of disagreements between unions and that. All right, so this morning we'll be taking a look at the newspaper headlines, and you should be part of the show. Yes, you should be part of the show by calling into the studio. Call us and let us know what you think, your take, your opinion on all we'll be talking about this morning, from the newspaper headlines to everything we'll be talking about. We'd like to hear your voice. We'd like to know what you think. So call into the studio on 0706 048 5853, or you can call us on 0915 570 8347. And also, aside calling, you can also send a text message or a WhatsApp message, depending on the ones that is more convenient for you this morning. All right, and we are also live on YouTube. We are live on YouTube. Please subscribe to our YouTube channel on High Voltage News. Like, comment, and share the video for others to be part of the show. So let's quickly go over the newspaper headlines this morning and see the top stories for today. We are starting with This Day newspaper. And on it we see Natasha citing pending appeal court case. NAS blocks senators' resumption despite suspension expiration. So this is about Senator Natasha Akpoti-Uduaghan, who was suspended from the Senate earlier this year. She was suspended around March 6th, and normally she should resume her duties. It was a 6-month suspension, and she's supposed to have resumed her duties. However, the National Assembly is refusing her resumption because they claim that her case is still pending in the courts. Court of Appeal. So this has created political tension because our supporters and the PDP believe that the Senate is unfairly blocking her. So this is a clear case of politics interfering with due process. If her suspension has ended, she should ideally be allowed back into the Senate until the court rules otherwise. So anything short of that raises questions about fairness in the legislation. All right, moving on. Edun Oyedele says no plan to implement 5% fuel surcharge in January. There's no plan. There's been a lot of speculations that the federal government is going to implement the 5% petrol charge in January 2026. But the Minister of Finance says that there's nothing like that. They don't have any plan yet to implement the 5% fuel charge. And he claimed that this has been in Nigeria, it has been in the law before Tinubu's administration, that they just cited it. So it's not a new thing, but they are yet to implement it. So the clarification is necessary because Nigerians are already suffering and they're talking about it. They're talking about this, the fuel increase, the 5% fuel increase. Okay. Also, next we have DSS brokers truce as oil workers call off nationwide strike. DSS brokers truce as oil workers call off nationwide strike. So the oil workers through Nupeng, the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers, and TUC, the Trade Union Congress, had planned, they did a nationwide strike which started on Monday and ended yesterday evening. Okay, so it was a big threat. So since a strike by oil workers would paralyze the economy and the fuel shortages, so there's a big relief for Nigeria because the strike has already been called off. It's a big relief for us as citizens. There's no longer increased price in transportation, and we don't have to queue at the fuel stations to buy fuels. All right. So next, we see that under this day newspaper, 18th Banking and Finance Annual Conference. Okay, so all right, moving on the Punch newspaper. Doctors to decide on nationwide strike today. The National Association of Resident Doctors, they are holding a key meeting to decide if they will go on strike, nationwide strike. And their complaint includes poor working conditions, unpaid allowances, a lack of equipment, and the government's slow response to agreements made in the past. So the Nigerian Association of Medical and Dental Academics also raised alarms over the $1 billion Nigerians spends yearly on medical tourism. So that's Nigerians traveling abroad for treatment. Meanwhile, the President Tinubu has promised reforms in the health sector, including solving the power issues in hospitals using hybrid solutions. But doctors are yet to be convinced that they want to be paid well. They want the facilities, the things to work properly in the hospitals. So this is worrying because when health workers go on strike, the patients are the ones suffering the whole thing. You go to the hospital and it's closed. What are you supposed to do when the hospitals are closed, when you are sick to death and you don't have anyone coming to treat you? So the government really needs to do something, ensure that they do not go on strike, because it's going to affect us. It's going to affect the ordinary Nigerian citizens who cannot afford to travel out for treatment. So they need to look into their demands, what they are looking for, what they are asking the government to do. They need to look into it and ensure that things are properly done to avoid strike. All right, again, on Punch newspaper, we see that NUPENG suspends strike as Dangote accepts union's demand. So NUPENG suspends strike as Dangote accepts union's demand. So next on it, 31 states domestic debt hits 2.57 trillion naira. 31 states domestic debt hits 2.57 trillion naira. So this is about the Nigerian debt crisis. So a report says that 31 states in Nigeria collectively holds 2.57 trillion naira in domestic debt. So this is the money that was borrowed from within the country, the domestic debt, money borrowed inside the country, not outside. So like borrowed from banks, from the bonds, from the financial institutions. So this huge debt raises concerns about repayment. How are they going to pay? With what's going on in the country, how are they going to pay this? And then it's also raises concern about governance. How do you stay in office and all you keep doing is borrowing money, putting the states, putting the country in debt? So it's a lot, and there needs to be financial stability and accountability in Nigeria. So it also means that some of the states are spending more money servicing these debts than investing in projects. Because when you borrow and you are expected to pay, the money you are supposed to use to ensure that there's good roads, there's good hospital, there's funding in the hospitals, there are facilities in the various, in the education sector, in the health sector. You use it to pay the loan that you collected, the debt that you are owing. So it's something that really is very alarming, because with much debt, states struggle to pay salaries. When you have a lot of debts to pay off, you struggle to pay salaries, you to complete projects, and also to deliver the basic services. Okay, so it's something that the state governments need to borrow wisely and spend things wisely. All right, so next on the Punch newspaper, 2027 presidency, Jonathan splits South-South PDP. Jonathan split South-South PDP in 2027 presidency. So the former president, Goodluck Jonathan, is reportedly causing division within the South-South wing of the People's Democratic Party regarding the 2027 presidential race. So some PDP members support Jonathan's return to politics, while others oppose it, fearing it will weaken the party or create internal conflict. So PDP has always struggled with internal unity. We've seen what has happened between the leaders, fighting, always having issues between themselves. So if Jonathan truly enters the 2027 race, it will likely shake the Nigerian politics. But it may also scatter PDP's chances if not carefully managed. All right, so next, PDP SANS protests as Senate block Natasha's return. PDP SANS protests as Senate blocks Natasha's return. We already saw the story reported in this day newspaper. So the PDP and some advocates of Nigeria are openly protesting the Senate's refusal to let Senator Natasha resume after her suspension ended. So the legal and political weight of this issue, if the SANS are involved, it may soon escalate into a serious court case or constitutional debate. All right, next on it, 5 soldiers, terrorists, feared death in Zamfara clash. 5 soldiers, terrorists, killed in Zamfara clash. Okay, so the ongoing insecurity in Zamfara state and the northern state is something that the security personnel need to look into. Like they need to look into it. And there were clashes and some terrorists were killed, which is good, at least to ensure that it's good to wipe away some of these terrorists that are causing harm in the lives of the citizens in the northern states. Although some of the soldiers also lost their lives, which is a very sad one. It's a very sad incident. So this reminder that insecurity remains one of the Nigerians' biggest challenges. So until rural areas like Zamfara are secured, food insecurity, displacement, and loss of lives will continue. All right, next, that's what we have on the Punch newspaper. Okay, so next we are going to be looking at the Daily Times newspaper, and on it, NCAA summons airlines over recurrent passenger complaints. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority has called 13 domestic airlines to an urgent meeting at its headquarters in Abuja after receiving many complaints about flight delays, cancellation, and poor handling of passengers. So the NCAA will address issues such as passenger welfare, unresolved refunds, enforcement of safety rules. We've seen some things that happened with the K1, Kwam 1, the Kwam 2 as well, Emerson, and also the one that happened recently in Enugu with an unidentified man. So we've seen the poor handling of passengers, the way passengers are treated in the airlines. So it's something that the Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority seriously need to address. They need to address these issues of also flight delays, cancellations. Sometimes you book a flight and they cancel it, and you might end up not being refunded, not getting your money back for reasons known to them, or it may take you sweat before they refund the money that you paid for. And it's really something, yes, it's a strong show of accountability for them being called. They should call them to order. So with many travelers suffering these delays and poor service, the NCAA is stepping in forcefully. So the meeting marks a turning point. We hope it marks a turning point toward ensuring that airlines prioritize the passenger rights and safety rather than merely profits. All right, so next we have multiple taxation killing hotel business in Nigeria. This report comes from the association. So hotel owners across Nigeria are complaining about how multiple layers of taxes imposed by federal, state, and local governments are trying to kill their businesses. So the Auto Industry Association says the burden of this taxes is too heavy. It's too heavy, and they are pleading with the government, the officials, to streamline taxation and consider grants to ease their strain. Because there's a lot of tax. You pay this person, you pay that person, you are paying so many people. And at the end, you look at your profit. Is it worth it? Is my profit worth keeping the business? Is what I'm gaining, is it worth keeping this business? Is it going to keep it alive with all the money I'm paying to government, to the federal government, to the state government, to the local government? Is it worth it? So it's killing some of the businesses. It's not just the hotel business. All these taxes imposed on the citizens is killing a lot of businesses, and it's a critical warning sign. It's something that the government needs to look into, ensure that they reduce. They're doing as much as they are trying to create revenue. They should reduce this tax and all that. So the tourism and hospitality can boost local economies and create jobs. So if hotels close up, it might affect the economy of the country. All right, so next, still on the Daily Times, reps summon transport minister over train derailments. The House of Representative Committee on Land Transport gave the Minister of Transportation, Ahmed Alkali, just 48 hours to appear before lawmakers after he failed to attend an earlier probe into a recent train derailment on the Abuja-Kaduna route. So the two derailments, which occurred on August 25th, involved a train carrying 618 passengers. So lawmakers called the minister's absence insensitive and irresponsible. So they've summoned the transport minister over this. And they need to know what is going on. What are you currently doing about it? About this train derailment? What have you done so far? So it is a serious rebuke. The lawmakers are making it clear that they will not tolerate any disregard for public safety and oversight. All right, so next, CBN moves collaboration with finance, trade ministries, and budget office. The Central Bank of Nigeria moves collaboration with finance, trade ministry, and the budget office. So they are exploring ways, they are looking for ways to work more closely with the ministries of finance and trade, as well as the budget office of the Federation, so that they can align the policies and improve economic performance. So while the exact details are still in discussion, this collaboration aims to enhance the fiscal coordination and boost the effectiveness of financial and trade initiatives. All right, so we are moving to our last newspaper headlines on the Daily Sun newspaper. Northern elders recommend dialogue with bandits. The Northern elders recommend dialogue with bandits. So they are urging dialogue with bandits in the North Central region to resolve the mounting security issues. They believe that talking with bandits, all the peace talks and all that, talking with bandits could help address about 70% of the region's security challenges. And they see dialogue as a practical step beyond political gestures or condolences. So this approach aligns with the presidency's view that open communication is key to curbing insecurity. But my question is, are you supposed to be having dialogue with people that are killing, with terrorists, with bandits? Are we supposed to be having peace talks with them? Are they not meant to be captured? All of them captured and removed from the society. Because when you have peace talk, you're allowing them to move around in this locality, in the society freely, without anything being done to them. So these are the things we are looking at, because I'm still trying to understand why we are having peace talks with terrorists in the nation, in the country. What is leading to all this? When they are supposed to be captured, they are having peace talks with them. To me, it doesn't really make any sense. Although, from their own perspective, they are trying to ensure that there's security in the land. But the federal government needs to do something and tackle insecurity in the country. All right, so presidency, Obi and Labour Party clash over rising loans and deaths in the country. The presidency, Obi, and Labour Party clash over rising loans and debts. All right, next, Tinubu approves off-grid solar power initiative for healthcare facilities nationwide. And that will bring us to the end of the newspaper headlines and reviews. Remember, if you have anything to say in regards to all the newspaper headlines that we've read so far this morning, call into the studio. Call us on 0706 048 5853. Or you can call us on 0915 570 8347 and let us know what you think on all that we've discussed so far. All right, so today is not just another day on the calendar. September 10th is World Suicide Prevention Day. Today marks the World Suicide Prevention Day, and it's a day the whole world pauses to reflect, to remember those we've lost, and to talk about what we can do to save lives. So the theme this year is intensify suicide prevention measures. And I want us to take this theme seriously, not just as words, but also as a call to action. Let's look at it. How are we going to intensify these suicide prevention measures? What are we going to do differently this time around to ensure that people around us do not think or do not commit suicide? Because there's been a lot of cases of people committing suicide as a result of different reasons, for different reasons, and some we do not know. Some they write it in a letter before they do the act and end up killing themselves. So let's start with the first this morning, as we are talking in line with the World Suicide Prevention Day. We are going to be looking at some of the things that are causing this suicide. The people that the numbers of the suicide rate in Nigeria. All right, so sometimes the numbers help us understand the weight of this problem. So every year, over 720,000 people around the world die by suicide as a result of suicide, killing themselves. And that's one person. So every 43 seconds is one person every 43 seconds. So even while we are talking now, someone somewhere must have lost their lives. And here in Nigeria, the numbers are heartbreaking too. We lose around 16,000 people every year to suicide. Our suicide rate is about 12.9 per 100,000 people, which is actually higher than the world's average. And here's what hurts the most. Most of these lives are young people. They are our brothers, our sisters, our friends, people between the ages of 15 to 29. So for young Nigerian, suicide is now the fourth leading causes of deaths. Suicide is now in Nigeria is now the fourth leading cause of death. So I want us to pause here and ask, have you noticed how many times in the news we read about a student, a youth corps member, a young man or woman who couldn't bear the weight of life anymore? It's becoming too common. It's becoming a lot common. And I'm asking you, how many times have you been able to check up on people around you, your loved ones, your family, your friends? Or are you the one that do not really care about people around you? So now let's talk about the reasons. Why do people commit suicide? Why do people take these steps? Why are they doing this? Why do they just all of a sudden decide to end their lives? Why does it happen? So sometimes it's not always one reason. It's often many reasons piling up, different reasons. And we try to understand, because depression is something that most times people do not really notice. It's something people do not really notice around us. So the relationship and outbreaks or abuse, there's a lot of things going on that causes this suicide rate. So it's something that we need to look into, since today marks the World Suicide Prevention Day. And there's a lot of loneliness, isolation, and lack of support amongst the youth, among the youth. It can also be mental illness, like the bipolar disorder or untreated trauma. It can be this. And sometimes it's just one bad day that feels like the end of the world. And mind you, this doesn't just happen to the youth, it doesn't just happen to the young ones, it also happens to the older people. It also happens to the older ones around us. So most people don't want to die. That's the thing. Most people, they don't want to die. They just want the pain to stop. And we look at the situations, the things going on in the country. There's a lot of hardship. There's a lot of things going wrong in the country that is straining the mental state, the mental health of people around us. Like you see a lot of people smiling, but then they are going through a lot. You go to the market, they are smiling, they are trying to cope with life. And just one day they feel like, I'm tired of all this. I'm tired of having to spend so much buying food, of not having money, of having to starve. And they decide to kill themselves. So this morning we are going to look at ways. What are the things that we are going to be to do in order to help to prevent these suicide rates? So to you that is listening to me, if your friend told you that they were tired of living, how would you respond? Would you brush it off and just say, don't worry, you'll be fine? Because that's what most people do. Someone comes to you to lay a complaint and you just say, you'll be fine. Because in Nigeria, almost everyone is fine. You ask someone, how are you doing? They are fine. We are all fine. But deep down, there's a lot going on in the lives of the people. There's a lot going on in their minds. Would you sit with them, listen, and really check in on them? So the truth is that suicide often shows warning signs. If we pay attention, we can really catch the signs. We can. So a loved one suddenly withdrawing from people. You see someone that used to be outspoken, someone that used to talk with people, that used to be free around people, now withdrawing from those people around them. Or you see people posting sad or hopeless things online. On their status, they are posting things. And you see it and you just ignore. Because just a word that you ship in can help to prevent the suicide. It can help. Just the show of affection that you care about this person can help prevent suicide. So you also hear people talking about death or saying things like, soon you won't have to worry about me. Like soon I'll be gone and there's nothing, you won't have any reason to worry about me. And you brush it off like it's nothing, like it's just normal words. Today, I want to remind you that people are going through a lot. And I understand that you too might be going through a lot. But then we all have one another. We need to look out for each other. We need to do that. So there's extreme mood swings. You see people going through a lot, going through mood swings and all that. This moment they are happy, the next moment they are sad. The next moment they are talking to themselves. You cannot point out to what it's really happening. And you keep quiet. At a time like this, you're not expected to keep quiet. And you are not expected to be judgmental as well. So while you talk with them, bring hope back. Remind them that there's a lot more to live for. There's a reason to keep living. They should live for the people around them that cares. They should live for the people around them that loves them. So it's something we need to be extra careful about. We need to pay attention to details. We need to see how people feel. We need to be able to feel those things. So these are cries for help. When we notice these signs, they are cries for help. And if we notice them, we must act. We must act in line. We must act. So be present. Be present. So sometimes just sitting quietly with someone is enough. Just be present with them. Yeah, you can ask directly, are they thinking about hurting themselves? It may sound heavy, but studies show that asking doesn't plant the idea. It can actually save a life. Today we are looking at saving lives, different lives out there. We don't want to lose anyone to suicide. We do not want to hear stories of people killing themselves while you are around them. We need to stand and do something. Connect them to help. Connect them to people that can help them, to counselors, to doctors, trusted leaders. And as a family member, as a father, as a mother, allow your children to come close to you. Stop dismissing their struggles with statements like you'll be fine or others have it worse. Stop dismissing it. Everybody, not everyone can handle things the same way. Everyone cannot handle things the same way. So when you say things like that, it kills hope. So you can say things like, I'm here for you. Yes, that you see their pain and you are with them. Then you're going to go through it all with them. So give people hope. Let your words be encouraging. Let your words be encouraging. And now I'm speaking to you directly, you that is listening to me. If you feel that you can't go on, if you think, please hear me out, you are not alone. Your life matters. And your story is not over. You have a lot to do on earth. You have a lot to do in Nigeria and beyond. You have a lot to do. So reaching out for help is not a weakness. You need to take care of your mental health. You need to take care of it. With all that is going on in Nigeria, we understand it's not easy to survive as a Nigerian. It's not easy at all. But you need to really take care of yourself, regardless of what's going on, regardless of the increase in prices, regardless of what's not working in your life still matters. We need you to live. So reach out for help. It's not a weakness at all. It's a courage. And talk to someone you trust, a family member, a friend, a counselor. Don't let this silence bury your voice at all. Do not let it. Meanwhile, while we're talking about saving lives, while the world is telling us to save lives, some people are busy destroying them. Some people are busy destroying them. Just yesterday in Onisha, we heard about something that happened by the Osha Brigade operatives, the Osha Brigade, that killed one a lady, right? 6 other people were injured. 6 other people, 7 people were affected. Reports said that 1 lost a life. Meanwhile, some other reports said it was 4 that lost their lives. We are yet to confirm the actual story, because people that were there said 4 people died. But the report says that the police said that it was only 1 life that was lost. And this was as a result of carelessness by the security operative in Anambra State. We've had incidents like this before by the security operatives. We've had incidents like this. How do we tell our young ones to hold on to life when those meant to protect them are also taking their lives? Because the person that was killed yesterday was just a 22-year-old lady at Emeka Plaza in Onisha. This is someone that just came out to earn a living. How do we tell the family members not to go into depression when the security operative, the personnel, are not helping matters? These things are wrong. These things are going wrong. They are meant to protect us and not meant to be firing because they have a gun. We've talked about this on this show before. We've talked about it. If you heard about the story, if you know what happened, call us on 0706 048 5853 or 0915 570 8347. We'd like to hear from you. We'd like to know what exactly transpired yesterday in Emeka Onisha. What happened between the Osha Brigade and the traders there? Because no matter what you do as a security personnel, are you supposed to use a gun on the civilians, on people that are not harmed at all? Because you are just exchanging words with them, you feel that you have the power to shoot. So 7 people who just went to the market to earn a living did not return home. Some went to the hospital for treatment, while one of them was moved into the mortuary. So it's something that we really need to, because we remember the story, the Aguneshemba security men who assaulted a youth corps member. So this assault of a thing, what do you tell the corps member? What do you tell these young people who have been assaulted by security personnel? What do you tell them about mental health, about living for themselves, about living for their families when a lot is going wrong? You come out, you are harassed by the personnel, by the security personnel, by the police, by the soldiers, you are harassed. And you end up feeling drained, like, what more can I do? This is Nigeria. What are we going to do? We keep talking about it every day. We keep talking every day. We talk about it. We raise issues. We see things like this on the newspapers. And we end up nothing. We just hear stories that they've been arrested. And then it keeps happening. Do they have the right to raise a gun in the first place? To shoot anybody? What about the terrorists out there? What are you doing about it? The bandits, what are you doing about it? And you are targeting the innocent people out there who are just there to ensure that they have something to eat. Now, as a result of your carelessness, 1 life was lost. And today we are preaching that we need to save more lives. And people out there are killing others. They are killing other lives. It's affecting us as Nigerians. It's affecting us because when we talk about the issue of mental health, all the stories happening in Nigeria affects us. It affects the citizens. When we read the newspaper headlines, when we see how things are being handled by the government officials, it affects us mentally. So what are the government doing about it? All these mistakes, we keep hearing this mistake, all these shootings that leads to lives that are lost. How can you train a security personnel and they end up saying, I made a mistake? Meanwhile, a life has been lost by your mistake, by your carelessness. Do we still trust our security agencies to protect our lives? While we are ensuring that we do not enter into depression, do we still trust them to protect our lives, or do we feel unsafe around them? What exactly is going wrong? So the world is crying, the world is saying, let's prevent suicide. At home, here at home, people are being pushed into hopelessness and fear. Once you see people with gun, your heart skips because you don't know who is who. You don't know if this one will mistakenly start shooting into the air. We do not know, because we still, how do we balance the whole thing? How do we balance this? How do we build a Nigeria where people not only want to live, but also feel safe living? In the north, people are dying, people are being killed. How do we spread this issue of mental awareness? How do we spread it to them? How do we tell them you are not meant to commit suicide, you are loved? Meanwhile, people are being killed. You see people dying every day. How do we make them feel loved despite all that is going on in the country? This is why the government needs to step in. The federal government, the state government, the local government, they need to step in and ensure that things like this do not make the newspaper headlines. Things like this do not happen in the country. Imagine your child leaving to make sales and not coming back because the security personnel felt it was okay to use a gun on them. It's so sad. It saddens us. It's really very sad. Because we really need to come together and find a ground around it. We need to come together and find a solution to all this. Let's do the right thing. What's the reason for bringing in new security agencies when all they do is threaten lives? All they do is try to kill the people around them instead of protecting them. What's the need of bringing in more? So it's really sad. Every day, different stories of people dying. But today we are asking that suicide is preventable. And also, this violence is something that can be avoided. We can avoid it. We can prevent suicide. We can avoid violence. We can avoid security personnel raising guns and shooting people. If they are not trained properly, do not hand over the gun to them. So how do you go to those families and tell them it is okay? You want to compensate them with money? Is money enough? Because that's what most governments do. Some families lost their out of carelessness, and then you carry money to compensate. How much is it that you're going to give that will bring back the life of the lost ones? Because one of the leading causes of suicide is also grief. Grief is one of them. So when a family, when a mother, when a father is grieving, and they feel that they cannot live this life anymore, they are tired. You've killed the one person that they believed in. You've killed this person, and they grieve to death. It's affecting us as citizens, honestly. The government needs look into all the different security personnel that they are bringing, that are putting into those places. They should know the kind of persons that they are bringing in. They should know the kind of people that they are giving guns to operate. Because this just happened in our neighboring states, just happened in Onitsha, 2 hours from here. And if it happened there, it can happen anywhere. It can happen in Enugu. So different security agencies with different names, with guns parading the whole city, parading the society. Instead of looking for terrorists, instead of looking for bandits, they are looking for ordinary citizens that they're going to cut short their lives. So as we close today, let's remember that suicide is preventable and also violence is very avoidable. So we must care for the mental health of our families and friends. And also we must hold our leaders and security operatives accountable for every drop of innocent blood. So to you listening, please check on someone today and also ask, how are you really doing? Know how they are doing. And don't just assume they are fine because they smile. And if you're hurting, please remember you are loved, you are seen, and your life is worth living. Together, let us save lives, not just from suicide, but from recklessness, brutality, and neglect. This is High Voltage. Thank you for joining us this morning. Join us again tomorrow by 9 a.m. on Volt 104.3 FM. Stay safe, stay hopeful, and remember, you are not alone. My name is Odili.